Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mila, you're at Alexandrian Archives, and if you're new here, welcome. Come join us. You're gonna have a blast. I'm gonna close that because that bugs me. Today I'm going to be doing a video that no one really asked for, but I do get questions from time to time, which is annotating. How do I annotate? Because if you've been following me on my Bookstagram, I do have a couple of posts of books that are annotated, or my Kobo annotations, or my school books annotations, and tabs and sticky notes and stuff. So I thought I'd sort of sit down and do a little video where I just chat about all things annotating. And yeah, so let's get to it. Roll the intro. So the first question is, of course, what is annotating? Annotating is basically reading and then you write down your thoughts, ideas, theories, etc. on the pages of the book or on sticky notes. Let me see if I have an example of perhaps both in one book. So I initially annotated this for my cousin, and she would give me her annotated copy, so it'd be like a switcheroo kind of thing. So yeah, so here is my copy of Six of Crows, and as you can see, here are the tabs, and I'll get into the supplies a little bit later, but let's see if I can find a sticky note part. There we go. Look at that. Obviously the sticky notes don't vibe with the tabs. I got like square sticky notes a bit later on, which is what you would see now pop up. I have them. These ones, I like the vibe of them. They're giving very dark academia, which is why I use them most of the time. I got them at like Walmart at one point. I got like 3 packs. So yeah, so this is the sticky note. This says, "Nah girl, Kaz is head over heels about Inej, trust me." And, you know, I just underlined stuff, I guess. It's been a while since I've read this. So you have like underlined, just my thoughts and my reactions, the other word I was looking for. And for some, this is seen as loving your books, because for me, for example, it is. I'm not too much of a stickler about it. I don't mind breaking the spines of my books, unless it's like a special edition. Then I'm just gonna be like, okay, you're sitting on my shelf and I'm gonna buy a regular edition. But I, you know, for some, it's loving your books and it enhances your experience. For others, they see it as ruining your book. So to each their own, and everyone is valid in the annotating community because we all have different levels of comfort when it comes to books. Some people do have like the transparent sticky notes, which I think is really cool. Some people write their notes down and the quotes in a separate notebook, which is also cool. That is also part of annotating. The way to make the book community, I have it written down in a notebook here, as well as the niche annotating community, truly a safe space for all, is to let people choose if they want to annotate or not. Meaning that those that annotate shouldn't look down on non-annotators, and those that don't annotate should not look down on annotators. I think we should just be in our little separate circles and interact respectfully if needed. See, the thing with the annotating community is a lot of people tell me or say in general that they like finding notes in secondhand books. Yet those same people also have a negative reaction when others are like, oh, I annotate my books. What do you think those notes in the secondhand books are? Those are annotations. Sure, they're made with pencil, but those are annotations. It's the same thing. It's the same concept. Those are annotations. Just because it's a thrifted book and therefore has a longer lifespan and you're giving it a second home doesn't mean that it's worth less. So my Six of Crows copy is not worth any less than that thrifted book is. Because they're both annotated. One is not worth more than the other. The next question is, why do I annotate? What's the point of me annotating? I'm a classicist. I'm a classics student. And in classics, you sort of, as well as I think English literature is very similar in that regard, is that you don't hold back your thoughts, your ideas, your theories. The things you like, the things you don't like, the lines you like, the lines you don't like. It helps with essay writing, it helps with, arguments and stuff, and it's sort of implanted in our heads as classic students that you need to annotate. If you don't have your thoughts on the page, it's not valid, because you just need to get your thoughts out on the page because then you can look back on it and use it as an argument source or something like that, as stuff like that. So for me, I'm not very, as I said, I'm not a stickler about it. I don't mind annotating unless it's like a fancy schmancy copy. That's when I don't touch it. Yeah. So that's that. Also, it's fun. It enhances, for me personally, my reading experience, and it also helps me remember things that I might forget otherwise. Although I do remember quite a bit of every book that I read, but still, the point is, do whatever makes you feel happy. And if annotating makes you feel happy, then good for you. If not annotating makes you feel happy, then also good for you. No judgment here. All are welcome. So the other question is sort of, do I annotate every book I read? No, I do not annotate every book I read. I read a majority of my books on my Kobo, so it's very easy to annotate it, and it's fun to annotate it and then write like little notes and stuff to look back on. But no, physically, I don't annotate every book I read. For me, it doesn't ruin my books. I don't see it as ruining my books. I see it as becoming even more treasured and things that I want to pass down or give away to someone special. For example, as I said with Six of Crows, I'm giving it to my cousin and she's giving me her version. People literally sell annotated books. Like, they make a business of it. So there's a market for this. The next question is annotating for uni versus for fun. There's definitely different parameters that I go for. Fun, I sort of go with the flow, underlining my favorite moments, underlining my favorite quotes, just writing down any thought that I have, being like LOL, LMAO, oh my god, just all that stuff, like crying face, drawing a crying face or something. Whereas for uni, it's more focused and linear, and I'm usually looking for specific stuff. I usually read through, like, let's say it's an article, I read through the article, and then I go back and I underline things that I think are important and would help me with my essays, with my assignments, with my arguments, blah, blah, blah. There's definitely different mindsets. And yeah. The next one is specifically about classics and annotating. It's not really a question, it's just sort of a subject I decided to touch on. I'm really relaxed about my annotating. As I said, I'm a classics student, so it's sort of ingrained in our heads that you have to annotate, and don't treat them as precious objects, because especially with like copies of the Odyssey and the Iliad are available anywhere, it's, as I said, it's sort of ingrained in our head. And supplies, I guess the thing that you guys have been, asking about for the whole duration of this video so far. I have this little pencil case that I got from the dollar store. I think it's really cute. It's like brown and has gold on top. It's very dark academia-esque. As you can see, that's sort of the theme I have going on here. I have these Sharpie S gel pens in 0.7 millimeters that I absolutely love. They're so smooth. I also have this fountain pen. It's a pre-found pen. I don't really use it as much, but I still have it. It's nice to have. I have a one of these. It's to mark out any mistakes. I do not remember the name of it. Just a bunch of pens, you know. I've got these ones. I actually haven't used these. I just thought they looked really cool. Yeah, I don't know how comfortable they'd be to hold and write with, but they just looked really cool and I wanted to buy them. So yeah, I have loads of the Sharpie pens. I also have like this one singular pencil in 0.5 millimeters. As you can tell, I like the thinner sort of points and stuff. So yeah, so that's that. And then I have the sticky notes that I mentioned earlier, which I got from Walmart. And I do not use highlighters. I do use tabs. So I just have the simplest, the bare bones of supplies. So this is a pack of tabs that's just sitting there. That's these tabs. I usually use the more darker colored ones, and I also like to match them to my books. As you can see for Six of Crows, I use the darker palette, the more dark academia palette. And I sort of start from the top and work my way down to the bottom. And in that case, it gave a sort of I think it's red to blue or either blue to red ombre effect. I forget what it was. But yeah, so that's sort of the bare minimum. Don't use highlighters because I find that all of them have bled through, even those that people claim don't bleed through. I don't know, maybe I'm highlighting things wrong. I don't know how you can use a highlighter wrong, but yeah. The next point is my annotation system, or lack thereof. So my annotation system is non-existent. I do not have a system. I don't have a tabbing system. So as I said, I literally pick one end of the sticky tabs. Okay, I pick one end of the sticky tab. So this is the front of the book. Pick one end. So this is the blue, dark blue, and then I go all the way down, and then it ends up being this really pretty ombre effect, which is what I did for Six of Crows and what I'm doing for my Cleopatra book right now. But yeah, I just find that if I do have an annotating system, it's usually because I know there's a certain amount of a specific thing that I'm looking for, like specific themes that I'm looking for, and usually that's more for uni articles and stuff, so that I can quickly refer to them. But for books, I don't have an annotating system because I know that if I specify the colors, they'll run out way too fast and then I'll just lose interest in wanting to annotate. So that's why I just don't really have an annotating system. It's again a personal preference. You can do whatever you want. The next thing is, what do I write / tabs? As I said, my thoughts, my feelings, underlining my favorite quotes, important quotes for nonfiction, important moments for nonfiction, dates and stuff. For my Cleopatra book, I found myself underlining every mention of Palestine and Gaza due to the events that are happening right now, and it's just sort of helping me come to terms with reality that, you know, I'm on the right side, I think. Well, I mean, I know I'm on the right side, but as a historian, I'm on the right side. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is, how do I choose books to annotate? Which ones do I annotate? Which books do I annotate? I annotate books for fiction, for example, books that I know. Sometimes I do it on rereads. The Six of Crows annotation, that was a reread, and so I knew I would love it. Knew I'd love it the second time, so I decided to annotate it. For fiction, it's definitely things that I think I know I love, or books that have a lot of themes that I want to talk about. For example, Babel by R.F. Kuang. I started annotating it because there was a lot of information and I want to look back on it and talk about it. I haven't finished it yet because I'm kind of terrified, not gonna lie, but books with themes that I know will be, hard-hitting and stuff, I definitely annotate and stuff. I choose to annotate and stuff. And yeah, I tend to go for sort of the dark academia-esque books or the high fantasy books that touch on sensitive subjects such as war or women in society and stuff, and just have really good quotes. For nonfiction, I've literally, like, I don't know, nonfiction, I just can't help but annotate. I want to write in it. I want to annotate. And that helps enhance the experience because I don't read nonfiction very often. But reading The Cleopatras by Lloyd Welland-Jones really helps me absorb the information, because there's a lot of information to absorb. Even as a classic student who knows about the Cleopatras and everything, it's still a lot to absorb. And if that book was written in a much harder to understand manner, I definitely wouldn't have been enjoying myself. So his writing style definitely is a factor to me wanting to read more and wanting to annotate. So yeah, and that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it helped you figure out your stance on annotating. Do let me know if you have any tips. Do let me know if you have any questions. My DMs are always open. Just let me know that you're coming from this YouTube video. Otherwise, I might ignore it because I get like weird DMs sometimes, so I'm very wary of it. But yeah, follow me on all my socials. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Happy reading.